Hello, everyone. In this lecture, we're going to be talking about some of the common cybersecurity threats that you would face, especially in a business environment. First, let's talk about phishing attacks. I'm sure many of you at work have received training about phishing attacks. Basically, with phishing attacks, there are three key elements. It's a fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information, such as usernames, credit card details, and it involves the attacker disguising themselves as a trustworthy entity. So, for example, an email from someone pretending to be your bank. The email has a link, and they want you to go click on that link to go and update your account information. But as soon as you click on that link, the website you are redirected to is actually fake, and the information that you enter on that website is harvested by the attacker. So that has all three of these key elements. It's a fraudulent attempt. It's malicious, deceptive, to obtain sensitive information, your banking information, by disguising themselves as a trustworthy entity. They're your bank. Here are just some quick tips on how to recognize suspicious emails that may be phishing attempts. First of all, check the sender's email address. Do you recognize that email? Are they using a company allocated business email? Or is it just a random Gmail account you've never seen before? Look for spelling and grammatical errors. This is a big one. Oftentimes, phishing attempts tend to have a lot of typos and bad grammar and things like that. You verify requests for sensitive information. If someone emails you asking for, sensitive information such as credentials, that should raise some alarms. Most legitimate organizations typically will not request for sensitive information to be sent over unsolicited emails. Um, and all of these, a lot of these attempts may have links, suspicious links that could harm you. So avoid clicking on unexpected links or downloading unexpected attachments. All right, let's quickly talk about malware. You might have heard that term before. It's basically a malicious software that's designed to either harm your computer or steal your information. And these are just some common examples of malware. Viruses. Think of actual viruses like the flu. They attach themselves to other files, and they can spread from one computer to another. Once inside, they can cause all sorts of problems like deleting files or slowing down your computer. Trojans. Think of the Trojan horse the Greeks used in the Trojan War. They are basically online tricksters. They pretend to be something they're not, like a harmless app. Once you invite them in, they can open a door for the bad guys to sneak into your computer and do things you don't want them to do. Spyware. Think of spyware as a digital detective. It secretly watches you online, like your what you do online. I mean, like the links you click, what you search for, and it does all this without you knowing. It's not something you want because it invades your privacy and it can be used to steal your sensitive information. Ransomware. Think of ransomware, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a digital hostage taker, essentially. It locks up important files and demands money for their release. It's a sneaky and harmful type of software that we definitely want to avoid. And here are just some tips to avoid malicious downloads. Only download from trusted sources. So, official websites, official app stores, If it's a sketchy looking website that looks like it's from the Windows 95 era, then yeah, avoid it unless you know for a fact that it can be trusted. Keep software and antivirus programs updated. I know updates can be annoying, but they're more important than you might think because a lot of updates are just security patches. Because cybersecurity is a very dynamic field. New threats are being discovered all the time, and so new defenses have to be created to compensate for those latest threats all the time. And the updates are how you get those latest defenses. Be cautious with email attachments and links. Mention this in the phishing attack section. If you get a random email from an address you don't recognize, yeah, don't click on any links they might send. Even if it's an address you do recognize, still verify it with another contact method. Use a reputable ad blocker. I would recommend using an ad blocker anyways, because not just because ads are annoying, but also because when you're browsing the web, pop-up ads are actually a common way for malware to be delivered to you, and so ad blockers can help prevent that from happening. And if you do use an ad blocker, make sure it's a reputable ad blocker. You look for reviews and recommendations from trusted sources such as tech websites, for example. All right, let's quickly talk about social engineering. Social engineering is basically the use of deception to manipulate people into giving sensitive info. That's where earlier we talked about phishing attacks. Phishing attacks are basically a subdivision of social engineering. For example, if you get an email from someone pretending to be your bank, that's a tactic called impersonation. They basically impersonate someone, an authority figure or a colleague, basically impersonating someone to make you trust them more. Pretexting. That's another way of saying a believable lie, a backstory for them, for why they are where they are. You know, uh, basically a real life D&D character. Anyways, baiting. Uh, you've probably seen ads online saying, "Oh, you've won $500. Click here to claim it." Baiting is basically, presenting a reward to lure targets. Quizzes and surveys. Uh, this is a tactic where they send you a survey, and basically they're collecting personal information, and that personal information can be used to help them in future attacks. These are just some common tactics. In terms of identifying and avoiding social engineering, well, one of the most important things is to verify the requests or the identity of the person sending you the request. If you get an email from someone claiming to be from your bank and they send you a link saying that you need to go to this link and update your account information, it's probably best to call your bank and verify that they have sent that request and ask them for further instructions. Be skeptical of unsolicited communication. If it's a random email from an email you do not recognize, that should raise some red flags. Uh, and also, question the story. If a really enticing offer gets made to you, an offer that you allegedly cannot refuse, something that's going to give you a lot of money or anything like that, and it's best to question it. While social engineers do often make backstories for themselves, a lot of times that backstory tends to have holes and inconsistencies in it. And if you notice any, if an offer sounds too good, it probably is. And other than that, just educate yourself and your colleagues about social engineering tactics. I talked about some tactics on the previous slide, but it's difficult to cover all social engineering tactics on just a short lecture. So it's best to just educate yourself, do some online research.